Hi guys, this week's been the last week of Season 7 of Mamemeister's High Score Kerfuffle, and we've been doing games from each year of the 90s. We started with Parodius from 1990, and now finishing with the game we've just had, Gwangi from 1999. This game is a vertically oriented shmup from Cave. Unlike so many of their games, it's absolutely great. This is easily my favourite game of the season. I absolutely love the game mechanic. Unlike many other shmups, the screen does not always scroll vertically, and you have this Shikigami ghost-like character if you hold down the fire button, which you can move around the screen to kill enemies. Another thing this Shikigami does is slow the bullets down and turn them pink. One of the things I liked about this game is that it sets the challenge by number rather than the speed of the bullets. I find this much more manageable, and I can plan my route through them more effectively than games that fire bullets at you super fast. I didn't have the most time to play this week, but I got familiar with the game early on in the week, and then had a decent session on Monday. The first 2 levels are fairly manageable, and then things ramp up on level 3, with the most difficult bit coming at the end of that stage, with the 3rd boss. This cat spider-like thing is very tricky, but I did manage to get past it once, which is what yielded my top score, just past 1 million. Jaffa has put a video out of his best score, where he talks through the various aspects of the scoring, and Pearl has a video too, where he 1cc's the game. Both well worth a look. So for the last time this season, let's take a look at the scores. I've had 17 scores sent to me, including a return from Shmupping Deku PG, who sometimes joins when we have a shmup. Our bottom half of the top 10 all have similar scores, from Milthy through to Dan AF90, all around 450 to 600,000. That is Dan's best finish of the season. In 5th, we have Shmupping Deku PG, with the first score over 600,000. Beyond him is me in 4th, ever so slightly behind Graham in 3rd. We were separated by less than 5,000 points, and we'll see the significance of that shortly. Our top 2 were the class of the field. Jaffa was always going to be strong in this one, and he is 700,000 points ahead of me and Graham, on the 1.7 million. But as I said last week, it was going to be Pearl's to lose, and he's not disappointed. He has completely smashed this out the park, and was the only person to 1cc the game with a huge 7 million points. This has to be the most dominant performance we've seen this season, and from when he posted his first score, the win was never in doubt. Here is the score distribution, and I'm not sure we've ever seen anything quite like this. Over on the left, we have our normal humans, fitting pretty much a normal distribution, which is nice. There are then 5 empty bins, until we find Pearl over on the right. This shows just how much of an outlier this score was, so very well done to Pearl here. Now the difficulty curve, and once again we can see the huge jump on the right up to Pearl's score compared to everyone else. Even so, we can still see multiple plateaus in the scores corresponding to some of the more challenging points. On the left, we have our guys at around 200,000, which I think is dying on level 2. The big plateau in the middle, which is dying on level 3. Then a little step up to myself and Graham, who got to level 4, then an increase to Juff, and the big jump to Pearl. I suspect with a few more players, it may be more of a gradual increase to Pearl, but he's very much the outlier here. Finally, the progress over the week. We can see for pretty much the entire time, it was Pearl being the one to beat, but he was always so far ahead that it was extremely unlikely. Even his first score submission would have taken the win this week. Amongst the normal folks, we can see the improvements quite a few people have made over the week. Juff gradually upped his score, as did Graham. I was pretty pleased to get some time in at the end and match Graham's score. With some more time, I'm sure I could get further, as I was beginning to get the hang of the cat spider boss. With all our games done for the season, we can see what the final league table looks like. As before, I've set a 5-game minimum to appear here, and we have 18 people. The wooden spoon goes to Robert, who takes the unfortunate last place spot. Both him and Mike have been jumped by Dan AF90 and Man Cave Arcade, who both had their best performances this week. Blue Yak is just ahead of him, and he's been jumped by Paul after we've not heard from him for a few weeks. Colin is in 12th, and then KMA has been jumped by Milthy. He takes our 10th place finish, with his best coming in The Simpsons. Leagsy is in 9th, whose best games came early in the season. 8th is Bob, who had a standout performance in Bang Bang Bollocks, and got ahead of Leagsy in the last game. Retro Arcade Challenge is 7th, and is the first of our winners, having topped the table for Battle Circuit. Next is my Retro Tech. He's been a consistent performer with an excellent second place in Space Invaders 95. I've finished in a solid 5th, having led followed my win in The Simpsons back in week 2. Mark has just missed out on a podium, having had a good season. He didn't take a win, but many 3rd and 4th places has seen him regularly score decent points. On to our podium places. In 3rd, it's our winner of the week, and taking 3 wins this season is Pearl. We all know how good Pearl is at shmups, and he's scored big when they've come up. Our top 2 though have been battling all season. Graham was leading by 20 points going into this final game, and a cave shmup was always going to favour Juff. Without Pearl, Juff would have won, which would have given him the season win. But with it being clear he'd need to settle for 2nd, and Graham looking likely to take 3rd, he needed someone else to get ahead of Graham. I tried my best on Monday, but I came up short by just 5,000 points. This means it's Juff taking the season's 2nd place, and our winner of Season 7 of Mamemeister's high score Kerfuffle, by just 8 points, is Graham 10 Shearers. A very well done to Graham, and this win is well deserved, although both of our top 2 have been excellent all season. With Graham taking the season win, it's become tradition to run a Champion's Choice game between seasons. I asked both Graham and Juff for games, not knowing who was going to win, and Graham chose Spy Hunter, released by Bally Midway in 1983. This game is part shmup, part driving game, as the original cab had a steering wheel and pedal, but there are a few controls for different power-ups too. A quick read, and apparently the developers were looking to get a James Bond license for this, but obviously failed, so it has the more generic spy theme. I have to say I didn't really know what I was doing on the first play. Maybe someone could post some tips on the Discord. For 1983, the game looks decent. Nice detailed sprites and good use of colour. I'm not sure what to make of it currently. Maybe it'll grow on me. We'll see. So that concludes Season 7 of Mamemeister's High Score Kerfuffle, and this season I think has been decent, but I'm not convinced we've had the best that the 90s were able to offer. What were your best and worst games of the season? Was it Bang Bang Bollocks? Or maybe Space Bummer? Now, let me reveal what the plans are for Season 8. Firstly, a comment on the format. Since Season 1, we've been running games every week, coming out on a Tuesday each time. You'll notice that this week's video is out on the Wednesday, and this is what I'm planning to continue with going forwards. The other change I plan to make is to reduce the frequency. Games will now be played for 2 weeks rather than 1. This reduces the burden on me, but also gives everyone a bit more time to play. So hopefully we can get a few more people involved, and it'll work for people who have maybe found the weekly commitment difficult. Regarding the choice of games, I've enjoyed the submission of games revolving around a theme, with the last 2 seasons being a game from each year. For the next 3 seasons, I propose that we do an A to Z, and reduce the seasons to 9 games each. So for the first game of next season, please send me an arcade game that we haven't had before and begins with the letter A. We could have Afterburner, Alien Storm, Alien Syndrome, Arkanoid, Armed Police Batrider, or one of my favourites, Assault from Namco. We've already had Amadar, Arabian, Asteroids Deluxe, Aliens, and Aerofighters. So I hope you enjoy playing some Spy Hunter this week, and I'll be back next week to kick off the new season. See you then.